We are back with Brand Shine Conversations, and we have here with us Pratap Bose, Karthi Marshan and Soumitra Bhattacharya. Pratap, the whole talk about the outdoor sector is that it's not always above board. There's a lot of issues of transparency, etc. Now, you've obviously seen this industry for a while. Is this a true thing to say?
The answer is yes. I mean, it's not something that is above board, to be honest. It's gone from bad to worse. It wasn't as bad as it is now, let's say 20 years ago. But I think it's the buyers at both ends that are often susceptible because it's quite easy to do what you want to do, and therefore it's always had that pain. I know clients really aren't really interested in that, but in the business and the community, I'd lie to you if I said it wasn't there.
But obviously the outdoor sector contributes a lot to the bottom lines of most of the media networks.
Yes, it's a profitable business. It's probably more profitable than most parts of other media if you run an effective out-of-home agency. If you would like me to give you the numbers, I can give you the numbers. It's at least a 20% margin business, aggregated over volume discounts and your buying and relationships. So compared to media, we're operating at 2.5. Even with the volume discount, it's still a profitable business.
And you say this in the presence of a client who could obviously be attempting to shave it off as much as possible.
While everything Pratap said is obviously true, I'm not very clear that this is less true for some of the other media. We all know that there is talk of particular clients having particular rates with particular channels. And from my point of view, where I'm sitting, where I'm a relatively small spender in the larger scheme of things, I feel disadvantaged. And I feel that television buying itself is not as transparent as I would like it to be. So from my point of view, I have to work very hard in this equation, and it makes our job that much harder, because we'd rather be focusing on the strategy and the messaging and the customers, but we also have to be focused on counting the money. But it's not just out of home. That's the only thing I want to qualify.
Does this whole perception put you at a disadvantage when you're going out for a sales call, or when you're wanting to deliver more but they can't because there are clients who read through your the spiel?
I don't know where Pratap got this 20% number. But the fact of the matter is, in outdoor, the reality is we are not on AOR with clients at all. I mean, most of my clients are on a campaign-to-campaign basis, and I have at least 4 or 5 agencies competing with me at that point of time. So in that scenario, if I can get 20%, I mean, I think I'm doing something drastically wrong.
When I meant that, I'm between 20 and 30% operating profit margin, right? So it's not that you make 20% off the client, but as a business, it delivers you an operating profit net margin of 20%. Because all of WPP today in this country operates at 30% operating margin. Right. So it holds good for every other business as well.
The fact of the matter is that all of us are in the business of outdoor, and is doing fairly well. So obviously the efficacy over other media is considerable. Is that something which is clearly understood with clients?
Like Karthi said, I think clients get the value of using the medium, and one advice that I'd like to give clients, and I say this quite often, is you do all of your checks and balances in terms of the rates and all of that, but clients don't focus on what the creative messaging is as much in earnest as they do with everything else. Because at the end of the day, you must realize it's the creative messaging that draws attention to the consumer. And I'd wish, because you spend so much money doing all of that, but if your messaging is wrong and you're not sort of creatively portraying what you want to do in the most creative manner, using the format that is outdoor, I think you're losing a lot of money by doing that itself.
If I can just add to that, I think it was David Ogilvy who said that you must brief first for outdoor and then get the film and the print. And we do that. We actually challenge our agencies just to bring us the 6-word or maximum 12-word outdoor creative first, and only then do we even start having a discussion about film or print, and we find that delivers great results.
So Karthi does a good job for sure, but I can't say that of every client.
Your agency handles all parts of the business. Now, do you all actually do that? Do clients come to you and say first handle outdoor and then do the rest, or is it all orchestrated well enough?
I am not too sure any client does that in this country. where you appoint an agency to handle the medium specifically, because the demands for that creative expression is very unique. And just to give you an example, a bus shelter in Bombay looks very different to a bus shelter in Hyderabad, for example. The sizes are different, the lighting is different. So you need very different creatives for a 20 by 10 that's on the road on top of a roof side. And you need a specialized agency to adapt creative in the way it's supposed to be viewed for the medium. So that's my new proposition to clients.
Karthi, do you think agencies are really equipped to handle outdoor creative?
It's not about the agencies, it's about the team, honestly. And like I said, once we started challenging and channeling our agencies to work on the outdoor first, you saw that there was a change in the teams that worked with us until we got it right. But once they got it right, then that team has stayed on course. And there I think it sounds really banal, but there is a real tight partnership that the client and agency have to play. If the client, like these gentlemen are saying, if the client relegates outdoor as one of the last things, like digital used to be until recently, like they used to say about radio until recently, if you relegate outdoor as one of the last things you're going to do and you give it only 1 or 2% of your time, then you will obviously get that kind of output as well.
Are you telling clients that, hey, this creative doesn't work, or this billboard will not get any benefits for you?
Yes, absolutely we do that, but sometimes we are listened to and sometimes we are not. However, let me just add another dimension to it. What we are discussing is just the exposure part of the creative. But I think now outdoor is not outdoors, it's out of home. And I think creativity in the idea that you're going to sell to the client, which sort of brings the local flavor of the outdoor and gives the campaign the bang that it's needed, is what is critical now. So in which probably the visual creative which is going up on a billboard is just one part of it.
What, according to you, as a way forward for the industry?
The authorities to regulate this medium and put in laws which are standard across the country. That's the first thing that has to happen. Without that, nothing is going to change. I mean, if you don't have a standard national outdoor policy or something like that, which everybody adheres to and follows, nothing is going to change. First thing that you need is standardization and regulation. And we can't do that. I mean, the authorities will have to do that.
Pratap, do you think that's the future?
I think out of home today, if it's really got to succeed for a client, has to integrate between public relations, PR, brand activation and digital. And if you can combine the power of all 3 or 4, then I think outdoor has a great future.
And do you think that's happening already?
It is to some extent, definitely. I think smart clients are beginning to realize that if your investment in a particular media is substantial, especially in sort of, if I can call it the fringe media, Karthi might disagree, but non-TV and non-press, let me put it that way. So if you get the whole brand activation piece, out of home, digital and PR together, working in a way that is sort of well thought of in advance, you can't just do it, once the creators are done, then it works brilliantly.
Karthi, last word from you. What are your expectations from the intermediaries and the outdoor media owners?
I want live webcams staring at all my outdoor sites 24/7 and I won't be able to check. So to their point about accountability and measurement, I think there are steps to be taken, but the more steps that we can take which are low cost but demonstrate that we are interested in delivering authentic delivery on this medium, I think clients will get comfort from that.
Great, thank you very much for being here. It was great having you in Brands and Conversations.